Hey, and welcome to my channel. If you are not subscribed, hit that button right now because I release regular vlog videos and fun decorating videos. But today we're gonna do a DIY together because I made this really pretty wreath for the holidays and it was so easy to make that I wanted to show you how to do it too. All you're gonna need is a hot glue gun, a couple things from the dollar store, and some old broken jewelry. I know you probably have a box of it at home of some brooches or single earrings or maybe necklaces that have been broken that are just waiting for repair. Now's the time to get them out and breathe some new life into them. So let's do it. So today we are going to make the most beautiful blinged out brooch wreath you've ever seen. So get your hot glue gun and your broken jewelry and let's do this together. I stumbled upon some junk jewelry that I had. I know we all have, pieces that either aren't getting worn, they're missing stones, missing clasp, they need work on them and you just kind of like shove them somewhere, right? They're the perfect pieces for an easy DIY like this. Because a lot of the pieces that I have are like old belt buckles or shoe buckles, brooches that are missing like a whole bunch of rhinestones in them, broken strands of fake pearls, like just a bunch of random like awesome stuff that I couldn't throw away. I've seen those vintage Christmas trees. I know that was something that a lot of ladies made in the past, were those beautiful framed rhinestone Christmas trees. They're actually really valuable and sought after now if you can find a true vintage one. What are people doing with these brooches nowadays? And that's when I stumbled across this really beautiful picture on Pinterest. I have quite the pile, but I have a feeling that I'm going to need more than like you'll think you need. I think that is the concept with a lot of arts and crafts. So I just spread out everything that I have here. I've got some really beautiful pieces like this one I thought was super pretty. This looked like an old brooch at the time, but it's missing the back, like that's broken off. So I feel like this would be a perfect opportunity to use something like this. I've also got some other really neat little bits. I think this is like an old fur clip, but it's missing a whole bunch of rhinestones. It's like too good to throw away. So this is so fun to be able to use this stuff in a different manner. And that way, these aren't tucked away in a shoebox. I can get these out and admire them. And I feel like something so sparkly and beautiful, it's kind of not really holiday decor. I feel like it can be enjoyed all times of the year. So what I was thinking is that I might do something, because my Christmas decor is very non-traditional and I love a lot of pastels and more like candy colors in my Christmas decor. So I've pulled out some icy blues in here and then also some really pretty pinks mixed with blues that I thought were super gorgeous. And then these are just like some plastic beads. Like, look at that. It's just, oh, what is this, an earring? How funny is this? I bet you somebody made that. That is the funniest earring. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then the next thing that I got is this wreath from the dollar store. It's just a foam wreath. But what you have to do before we get gluing all these rhinestones on, they need something to stick to. You need a little bit of grit on there. So you could use some old ribbon. I'm actually gonna use this kind that looks like a burlap ribbon because I thought that would give a nice texture to it. And then it also has some lace, so it would look a bit shabby chic. And again, I got both of these things at the dollar store. So what I'm gonna do first is wrap this all the way around the wreath form, and then we're gonna glue gun it to secure it. This is actually a super important step of this DIY. You want to get a really tight wrap on whatever ribbon or wrap that you're doing around the wreath form. If you've got floppy wraps going on, you're going to have floppy brooches and jewels, and that's definitely something that we don't want. We want everything to be nice and secure. So the next step that we're going to do is do a bit of a wrap with some of the faux pearls. So I'm going to try to find some that are knotted. You don't want to accidentally snip a necklace that is a strung set of beads, or you're gonna have beads all over the floor. So make sure they are the ones that are like, the plastic pearls that you'd wear when you were a little girl. I had always had these. I had like a whole treasure box, this wooden treasure box that I got at a garage sale with my mom, and I would have all of my vintage jewelry in there. And every time my mom and I would go to rummage sales, especially church rummage sales were my favorite when I was little, but I'd always look for vintage jewelry because it's so fun. I'd sit down with my Barbies and wear my one of my prom dress, my future prom dresses when I was 6, and then wear my fake pearls and play Barbies on the floor. It's so fun. So these are the kind of pearls that you want. They're just plastic ones, so cute. So I'm going to create like I think I want to double these over. I love a nice, like, thick, dramatic look. I'm sure you saw me jerk my hand away a few times during that time lapse. So don't forget that hot glue guns are hot. You gotta be careful. So just go slowly, carefully set those little pearls into the glue. I thought that this piece would actually make for a really beautiful centerpiece of this wreath, like right at the top. I thought that would be gorgeous. So if I hang it, with some satin ribbon or something pretty, this will be dangling down in the center. So I'm gonna leave this area open for now and start filling in the blanks. All these little gaps in between the pearls where we've wrapped that burlap or lace, whatever you've decided to use, that's where we're going to start covering in the pretty rhinestones. I just realized I had so much stuff in front of me. There's something else that I want to use before we do rhinestones. These chunky beads were pretty cool. Let's see if I can use them though. Can I use these? Oh, I can't use them. Wait. Are these pop beads? Oh my goodness, these are pop beads. Do you remember these? That's why these earrings were so funny. Pop beads. Oh, I used to have these when I was little. That is hilarious. Oh my gosh. So yeah, these will be really easy to use. I think what I'm gonna do is pop them apart and use bits of blue throughout the entire wreath, just on the front though. Now is the fun part. We can put in the brooches. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for this. It'll be good to finally have all these little brooches out, like where I can see them, rather than like tucked away in a shoebox like I was saying, because they're just they're too good to get rid of. They're perfect for arts and crafts. And I know that Goodwill even has those big jars of jewelry, sometimes for like $10 or $20. So if you pop into your local Goodwill, that's definitely something to keep an eye out for arts and crafts. I think the best thing to do is probably start with these bigger, chunkier ones and then fill in the blanks with the little guys. So let's see here. This might be a good one to start with. That one's a pretty big honker, isn't it? This one's quite the flopper. Hopefully I can get that to stay. I might have to come around again with some glue. The thing about glue guns, they are nice, for little projects like this, but you have to have a little bit of patience because that hot glue has to set up, and it takes just a little bit when you're setting things like metal from the brooches. It's gotta harden a little bit, so just be patient and hold that little baby in place. Wow, look at all of those little glue gun spider webs. I wanted to show you was from my perspective what things are looking like, because they're starting to get really nice and clustered together, and I like how these little floral ones, they actually look like little snowflakes, don't you think? I thought that looked real cute, but some of them are a little bit wobbly. So like this one that I was working on here was kind of a little bit of a wobbler, and that's what's hard about placing these, because they're not flat on the back. But you want to get in here with the glue gun, so make sure you get in like the little spokes of the brooch, because the last thing that you want is to hang this up on the wall and then all your jewels fall off. So just get in there and squirt as much as you need. Yeah. That one's good. Any ones that are wobbly, we definitely don't want. Feel like that's good. Gotten the little prongs of it. Okay, so I'm going to keep working my way around and filling in some of these blanks on the sides here. That's kind of different. Oh, I bet you this was like a little piece from broken. Oh, yeah, it was, huh? Looks like part of a bracelet at one time. That's funny. Well, these are perfect little pieces. Look at that. I can fit that right in there. Right in that little corner is a good spot. Good thing I brought like 5 glue sticks over here because I'm probably going to need it. Give it a little wiggle. This is going to look cool. I'm so excited to do this. I feel like I need to brew one of my favorite little teas and relax, darling. It's kind of one of those things where you just space out, you know, and think about stuff. It's nice to have some quiet time. I saw one of the wreaths on Pinterest looked especially nice, that they kind of overlap the jewels on the wrapping of the faux pearls like I just did on this one. It just kind of blends everything together. So once you get your big ones on, start filling in little gaps with these like little single guys. They're perfect too, like if you have like a single earring, that would be a good thing to use for all these little bits here. What about that? Is that a good spot? That's a good spot, I think. Let's see if I can get that one to stick right there. I'm just gonna start calling this the spider web cam because it doesn't look so glamorous in reality now, does it? But the wreath is coming along really beautifully. I found this neat little patch. I'm not sure like if this was from a vintage sweater or a dress at one time, but I think it's from the 1950s. They're like little faux pearls and prong set rhinestones. And I just thought it was super pretty in the shape of a leaf. Even though it's not a brooch, it's like a fabric kind of like applique or something, but I thought it was so beautiful. So I think that I have enough of the clear ones in here now that I'm gonna start moving into the blue tones. I will tell you, this little wreath is getting very heavy because it's so loaded up with sparkle. Wouldn't this make like a really fun gift to give to someone? I feel like this would be like a really good, even like a Mother's Day present if you wanted to do like Easter colors where you could use all of the pastel ones that, you know, I'm gonna be using in my Christmas wreath today. But I think if you did like a colorful one, it would look so pretty for spring. There are so many great brooches that are like beautiful flowers and roses, or maybe you could do one in little birds. Oh, wouldn't that be cute if you knew a gardener? That maybe I might make one. I love to garden, you know that. But oh, so cute, little birds. You could do like little robins and swallows and or woodland creatures. I don't know, like you could like do anything with these wreaths. So cute. I feel like this might be my new thing. That does not look very fancy if we have price tags on things. Even if you only got it for $1. One thing you have to be careful with using vintage jewelry, make sure you have your tetanus shot because you might get poked by these old brooches. They're like little needles, daggers poking up everywhere, so be careful where you are grabbing. Look at that with a pretty leaf, super icy blue. Let's get that one on top. That's a perfect one to get our transition going. I think we're there. Should I do it? I think it's time. I think I can fill in any little gaps with some of the smaller pieces. I only have a couple spots up at the top, so that's awesome. Won't that look pretty? I love that fringiness. Oh, so cool. So it looks like I'm gonna have some gap up in here, but I think I have some small little brooches that we can pop right in there. What I'm finding with gluing these pieces is if you get the glue gun tip like right in all of the little spaces, so rather than gluing only on the wreath, after you stick down the brooch, make sure you get in there with the tip and then add some little squirts. So you're basically creating like a bed of glue for it to sit on, because the last thing you want is to hang up this pretty wreath and then all the jewels fall off. That'd make anybody cry. I feel like something like this sparkling with some pretty candles lit, or maybe if you have some of those white twinkly Christmas lights would look so stunning. I feel like this would be such a beautiful gift to give for the holidays. Definitely something that you could personalize for someone. Like I was saying when we were making this together, if you know a gardener or maybe a musician, I know I've seen some really great brooches that have little musical notes or instruments on them. You could really personalize this for someone and make it extra special. I would absolutely love to see if you make a wreath like this of your own. So be sure and find me over on Instagram and tag me over there so I can see what you create this holiday season.